Before you leave today, Lisa, I have a card for our meet.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for doing that.
No. Yeah. Yes. Sure.
Yes. Yeah. Mic on, just get to the green light.
Okay,
So,
good evening. I'd like to call to order the Board of Trustees special meeting for July 12th, 2023. We have one order of business today, which is, I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing today. We're going to consider the appeal of the reconsideration of the resources decision. We have a active appeal before the board. We had a long, as people watching the YouTube probably know, we had a long meeting a couple of days ago and a lot of public comment on a program that's being held tomorrow. And so I would ask the board to consider this appeal before us. And then I would ask also that board members want to say a few words before the vote. That'd be helpful too. So I'm looking for a motion on the consideration.
So moved. So moved.
Second.
Okay. So the motion is basically, should we overturn Jeff's decision, the director's decision to I'm saying this right, to deny the request for reconsideration of the program being held tomorrow, the drag story hour. So that motion is made and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion?
I think, is there the policy that you have queued up to, just in terms of, so everyone's familiar with the process?
absolutely. So I just was clicking through for the folks at home from the front page. We'll go back. So from the main library website, roll down to policies. Wait for your computer to do its job. And then under the collection development policy, because it's usually attached to the collection development policy, the request for reconsideration form is there. And this will be the process that we're discussing tonight. So the policies involved are the programming policy, which are linked from the same page. And then this request for reconsideration is both a form and an outline of the process. Just so everybody knows, if someone can submit an item, a program, or exhibit to be reconsidered by the library by either filling this out in paper or filling out the online form. So basically, when I get one, I have a reasonable time to receive that response and then issue my my finding on that. And then if I deny the request for reconsideration or choose to take no action, then they can appeal ultimately to the trustees, which is where we are here. The trustees have 60 days because you're a volunteer board. You have 60 days to meet with that. And I just appreciate that you being here. I understand because it's a program, not a book as they usually are mostly. Time is of the essence because the program is too long. So I appreciate you being here.
Oh, any further discussion?
Do you want us to comment, if we would like to comment on our vote before we take the vote, or would you like us to do that after the vote takes
I
place?
think we should do it before, and I just want to make sure that the motion is to deny the appeal means the program goes forward. If they accept the appeal, the program does not move forward. So So when you're voting on, just make sure that we're voting on. So, yeah, people, I think we should do it before the vote, so people, everyone can hear the benefit of our votes.
So just to clarify, what you're saying is that a yes vote is to,
A yes vote would mean that we accept the appeal,
Yeah, grant the-
correct.
but the program does not move forward.
So the motion was to deny the appeal. So if you were voting on that motion and you wanted to accept the appeal, you would vote no to that.
Right, so that's why I wanted to say this out loud, so we're
Yeah,
on the same
talk it
page.
through.
So the motion is to deny the appeal. So if you agree that we should deny the appeal, which means the program move forward, we'd vote yes. If you do not agree that we should deny the appeal, and the program does not move forward, then you vote no. Does everyone understand that? We also have one, I just want, for the record, we also have one vacant seat and one member of the board that is out of country. Actually, so there's 5 board members voting. So I will go around the table if anyone wants to say anything before we vote. Okay, Karen?
So I know that we don't have to, justify our votes, but given the significant public interest in this and given that we are elected by the public, I would like to give the reasoning behind my vote tonight. I want to emphasize the fact that the board did not have to consider an untimely appeal, which this was, but chose to do so in the interest of transparency and the fact that we recognize that members of the public did not fully appreciate the appeal process. That said, I will vote in favor of continuing to hold Drag Queen Story Hour for the following reasons. First, for the initial reasons that the library included this in its summer programming, because community members requested the program based on knowledge that other libraries were holding similar events and the fact that those events were well received. The staff and the board often look to the successes and challenges of other libraries to guide our choices. And Drag Queen Story Hour has been a significant success at other libraries, both locally and nationally. Thus, there is no reason to overturn the initial decision of the director. But having heard the views of the public, both through written response and at the board meeting the other night, I take into account the following. A significant number of views against Story Hour were based in an individual's Christian beliefs. While I respect those beliefs and any individual's right to live by those beliefs, making decisions on library programming based on whether or not it aligns with Christian beliefs or any religion's beliefs is a clear violation of the Establishment Clause of the Constitution of the United States, which every member of this board has taken an oath to uphold. I raise this issue because there seems to be a fundamental misunderstanding by several members of the public regarding how a public library must act in this regard. As related to the free exercise clause of the First Amendment, it includes both the right to speak and not to speak. I believe that the board has upheld those rights by providing several methods for patrons to express their views, by allowing the speech of the program itself to take place, and by respecting those decisions of those who choose to attend and those who choose not to attend. Finally, several commenters noted that a program like Drag Queen Story Hour provides an opportunity for themselves or their families to be reflected in the library's programming. Supporting a program that recognizes community members who were previously less visible meets the library's stated goals of enhancing the general welfare and quality of life in the community and providing equal and uncensored access to resources. It is the fact that, in accordance with the library's mission statement, this program allows the library's representation of our community to continue to expand and grow that is dispositive to my vote. On a personal note, I support our LGBTQ plus community and look forward to and hope that the library can incorporate more queer concerns in our programming and collection.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to say anything?
I won't be as eloquent as my colleague here, because I did not write it out. But I have one question. What did we sign yesterday, on Monday? What was it called? The ethics statement.
The ethics statement, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't happen to have that up there. Can you access that while well, okay, well, I'm gonna do it by memory. I'm gonna do it by memory. Okay, so I will say, so, So I'm Charmaine Singer. I have significant experience and well versed at both submitting appeals, evaluating appeals, and acting and advising people on appeals. So when I'm judged this by 3 areas. The first is, did the director act and the staff within the purview of their responsibilities given to them by their job description? I believe they did. It is not the board's responsibility to tell the director or to direct programming, and we do not put programs up for votes by the community. We just don't. We haven't in the past, and I do not believe we should be. So although a number of people spoke on Monday, and I appreciate people coming forward and organizing their thoughts and sharing those with the boards, we do not hold referendums on programming. We rely on the professional expertise and experience of the staff and their connections to the community to determine what should be offered by the library. So I believe the director acted within the purview of his responsibilities. And so that area, I hold on that. Did the director follow established procedures? As far as I can tell, he did within the timeline. And in fact, the appeal was submitted after the 14-day period, but I appreciate the board's willingness to come together and hear it, given the community's interest and what the community shared and their investment in this. But as far as I know, the director followed the procedure, and the board is now following the procedure as dictated in the policy. Lastly, there's no new evidence or data presented in the appeal that we did not already know. So again, I'm judging on what was spoken on Monday, the policy, the procedures, and did the director have the authority to do the programming? So on those areas, generally speaking, in terms of addressing appeals, I find that there's no merit to the appeal. I do believe, given what was the director's decision to program the piece and what the community shared, is that there does fill a need in this community for people to see themselves in the programs of the library. People can choose to not attend. People can choose to attend and either learn something new or see themselves or their families represented where they are not, generally speaking, seen in other ways. I'm not going to question whether people feel seen or not. That's not my experience, but I understand based on my experience what it's like to be seen and unseen, and how people can make assumptions about programs fitting the needs of my family when in fact it may not. So families came forward, the director evaluated that information and programmed it accordingly. I hope that the program is successful, and I hope that any community members who choose to attend enjoy the program, and if folks are attending to not necessarily come into the program to hear the story hour, I would fully expect that the Bethlehem residents would conduct themselves accordingly so that the program can go forward and people can enjoy it should they wish. I don't think I have anything. Oh, we signed whatever it's called.
Yes, the ethics statement.
The ethics statement, all of us on Monday. And I'm pretty sure it's bullet 6 or 8, because I'm going to ask for an amendment to it in August that says something to the effect that trustees have the utmost responsibility to support the director and the staff in upholding access, full access, uncensored access to materials. The amendment I will introduce in August is to say, add the word program to that. But we just signed that statement on Monday. And so we have an obligation based on taking this role as trustee to allow the staff to provide diverse programming in an uncensored manner. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to say anything?
Sure. I will. All right, so I did want to recognize the large amount of public input we received against this program, but that we received only one official request for an appeal, which is what we are voting on tonight. I happen to agree with parts of this appeal that the library is courting controversy with this program. My concern is that very young children may be exposed to very angry adults on both sides of this issue. It is my opinion there are myriad ways the library could have promoted diversity and acceptance without involving our very youngest patrons. I do not believe a toddler is going to glean diversity training from this exercise as proponents suggest, nor do I believe a toddler is going to be sexualized by seeing a person in a costume. Drag Story Hour is theater that happens to have its roots in gay culture. My concern for toddlers and picket lines is very real. The library could have chosen a different program to support diversity. That said, our library's collection for years now has included LGBTQ+ content and materials. Each patron decides which materials they would like to check out. If a patron does not want their child exposed to Drag Story Hour, they make the choice not to attend. So while I agree with this program, while I disagree with this program being the one selected to encourage diversity, I don't believe we should prevent those who want to participate from doing so. I vote to deny the appeal, but I strongly encourage the library to ensure this program proceeds safely. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to say a few things too. So I first want to thank the members of the public who came out to the meeting. I'd like to see if we can generate the same amount of interest on upcoming programs and upcoming things that we're doing. Maybe not the same vitriol, but the same amount of interest. I think the library is a tremendous resource of this community, and I'd love to have the public more involved in our meetings and more involved in the issue. I also want to thank the staff of the library for programming this program. It's a controversial program, and it is a brave thing to do. And so I want to thank the staff for programming this program. As we vote in a second, I also want to appeal to the community to be respectful tomorrow. This is a story hour, and we need to be respectful of everyone's opinion and make sure this program is a success. We are a great community, and we can show our greatness tomorrow by being respectful. And the last thing I want to say is that we also need to think beyond the program and keep talking about diversity, acceptance, all sorts of different things, and that's the bedrock of the library. It's the place where a community should have these types of programs. And I would urge the staff, and I know they are working on it, to not make this a one-off. That we need to keep thinking about diversity and acceptance of all people in this community. So with that, I vote yes on the motion, and I will take a straw poll. Lisa, do you want to say something? Okay.
I'll finish with
Okay.
the comments. And
Right.
I just want to say, I do agree with the majority of what's been expressed already, much more eloquently than I'm going to.
Okay, is your microphone on?
Is it on?
Yeah,
So you just need to be a little closer.
More eloquently than what I will say. I do support the independence and autonomy of the library and the director to schedule programming. I think they did a fabulous job with doing this. I support the director's interpretation of the program and meeting the goals of our long-range service plan, as well as the summer reading program's theme. And I also support that future programming for diversity in our public library is something that we really need to pay more attention to. So with that, I'm also going to vote to deny the appeal.
Okay, so now I will take an official vote. All those in favor of denying the appeal, please signify by raising your hand. Seeing no opposition, that motion will carry. The appeal is denied. Is there any other business that people want to talk about today? Okay, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
Excuse me, can I ask the question?
Uh,
Does the appeal count have any chance to speak?
So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna close the meeting first. Is that all right? Or
Hang on a second,
Okay.
I'll answer.
Okay,
I got it. So there was a long discussion on the meeting a couple days ago, Monday night. It's now Wednesday. There's nothing new. There's no opportunity for the appellant to speak. If I'm sure that after we adjourn the meeting, we'll stick around and you can say something.
I wasn't actually going to speak about your decision.
Okay, well, we're gonna let us adjourn the meeting.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
but we're on YouTube.
Right, and we'll
Yeah,
keep
do
that.
it after.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll call for a motion of adjournment.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor, signify by raise your hand. Okay, so in opposition, the most meeting is adjourned.
Okay,
Yes.
I think that some issues came up.
Can you speak a little, either use the microphone